Your exhale is a direct line to your brain's emergency brake, and most people have spent their entire lives never using it intentionally. Most people assume deep breathing works because it floods your body with more oxygen. That's not quite what's happening. When you're anxious or stressed, your blood is usually already well oxygenated, sometimes over-oxygenated, which is part of why hyperventilation makes things worse rather than better. The real mechanism runs in a completely different direction. It's about the nervous system receiving a signal, not the lungs receiving air. And the key is not how deeply you breathe in. It's how slowly and fully you breathe out. When you extend your exhale and slow your breathing down, you activate the vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the human body, running from your brainstem all the way down through your heart, your lungs, and into your gut. The vagus nerve is the primary channel of your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your nervous system responsible for rest, digestion, and recovery. When your diaphragm descends on a slow inhale, it applies gentle mechanical pressure to the structures around the vagus nerve. When you then extend the exhale, making it longer than the inhale, you sustain that signal long enough for it to travel upward to the brain. The message is simple: situation is safe, resources are available, stand down. There's a phenomenon called respiratory sinus arrhythmia that makes this more interesting. Your heart rate naturally rises slightly on the inhale and drops on the exhale. This isn't a flaw or an irregularity, it's your cardiovascular and respiratory systems in active, ongoing conversation. When you breathe slowly, around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, which is significantly slower than the average resting rate of 15 to 20, you amplify this rhythm. You increase what's measured as heart rate variability, or HRV, the variation in time between consecutive heartbeats. Researchers use HRV as a window into how adaptable your nervous system is, how well it can shift between effort and recovery. People with higher HRV tend to show better emotional regulation, stronger attention, and faster recovery from stress. Slow breathing is one of the most reliable ways to move that number. The third layer is more subtle, and it gets at something fundamental about how the brain works. Your brain is constantly building and updating a model of your internal state, a process called interoception. It's not just reading the body, it's predicting what the body needs based on incoming signals. When you breathe fast and shallow, your brain receives a cluster of inputs: elevated respiratory rate, reduced diaphragm movement, rising heart rate. Those inputs match the profile of a body under threat. So the brain updates its model accordingly and begins preparing a stress response, even if nothing externally threatening is happening. Slow, diaphragmatic breathing reverses that signal set. The brain receives input consistent with a body at rest, and it revises its prediction. The calm you feel isn't just physiological. It's the brain changing its internal map. The most effective way to use this is not to pull it out only in the middle of a crisis. By then the system is already running hot and harder to interrupt. The real leverage point is earlier, and more consistently. Try this once a day at a neutral moment. Inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 8. Make the exhale feel almost like a slow release rather than a push. Do that for 5 minutes. What you're doing over time is building what researchers call vagal tone, the baseline sensitivity and responsiveness of that calming pathway. It functions like a training effect. The more regularly you activate it, the more range your nervous system has available when stress does arrive. You're not just relaxing in that 5-minute window. You're expanding the system's capacity to regulate itself. The mechanism has always been there. The body came with it. Most of us just never had a reason to use it deliberately until something pushed us toward wanting to.